the 390 challenge. Choose what you want to learn in 2024 and aim to complete at least 90% of the course in the next 90 days. And if you do that, you get back 90% of what you paid for the course. We believe you can do that. Now all you got to do is commit to your success. Commit with Geeks for Geeks.
Hello. Okay, guys, we are live. So, hello everyone, I'm Viraj Jain and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. So, today we're gonna start with file management. I know the title you might see in this video is Oops, but we have already covered Oops in last video. You can check out my TypeScript playlist in the same channel, Geeks for Geeks Development. So, today we're gonna finish up with the file management, and this is something very basic. And I think I must not make a specific video on this, but still, I'm making a specific video on this because these were some basic things which were remaining like to be specific, the file which we created named as tsconfig, something about that. And I'm gonna like later on when we end this, we're gonna end TypeScript today. So just after finishing the file management today, I'm gonna explain where you can use TypeScript now. So that would also be covered today, right? So the video title would be later on we'll change it to file management, and oops concepts were already covered in previous classes. So please watch my previous class. Okay, you'll understand everything. Okay, in order you'll understand everything, and this would be the last video of our TypeScript. After this we're gonna make some 6 videos for nextjs. Okay, so nextjs is used for front end, and right now you might have heard about MERN in MERN we use react.js. So react.js is right now replaced by nextjs. It's like a better version of react.js. That's what nextjs is. So in the upcoming videos we're gonna learn nextjs, and the prerequisite of nextjs is you must know react.js. So please just learn react.js. I would say at least more than basics you must know, like hooks concept of react.js. You must know all the hooks, then you must know components, and then you must know routing, then you must know navigation, and I think that's it, and somewhat basics of CSS and HTML and JavaScript, right? So these are some basic things which you know, which you must know, and after that you can start with Next.js from the upcoming videos. So today we're gonna start with the file management, very few basic topics, and then we can wrap up the session by knowing how TypeScript would be used in different languages. Like we're gonna use TypeScript in frameworks like you can use it in Next.js, or you can use it in Angular also, in React.js also, and you can use it in Node.js also. Okay, so यार बाल खराब हो गए, just a second. हाँ, okay. So before that, guys, I want to explain you Geeks for Geeks 90 days challenge. So what is it? So basically, Geeks for Geeks 90-day challenge is like if you purchase any course in the month of January with Geeks for Geeks, and you finish 90% of the course within 90 days of its purchase, then you can get 90% of the amount of that course refunded. Okay, so it's a very great motivation to all of us who just buy courses, including me. I just buy courses and just forget about them, and I just manifest that कल करूँगा, परसों करूँगा, 6 महीने बाद start करूँगा. This happened with me when I purchased DSA courses in different platforms, and honestly I'm still not able to finish that. But yeah, Geeks for Geeks is doing something which is really motivating for all of us. That is it would help us to finish the courses soon. Okay, so yeah, if you purchase the course in the month of January, then only you would get the discount and a refund, I mean. But after January, like if you try to purchase course, then you won't get this offers. You might get some other offers by Geeks for Geeks, but this 90-day challenge is only from month January if you purchase the course in the month of January, right? Okay, we have a comment here. Are we just getting started or missed something? We are just getting started, more. And actually we are just finishing TypeScript. This video is gonna finish TypeScript and the very few basic things, not a very important video, so you can actually skip this video, it's totally fine. But yeah, we are just finishing up TypeScript, and now after that we'll know that where are we going to use TypeScript, and I'm going to explain what projects we're going to create in the upcoming videos, so you know that yeah, how TypeScript would be used in a better way. In the previous videos you would see that we have covered some theoretical concepts like how TypeScript is actually like code is written, how the syntax of TypeScript works, but we haven't implemented it in any project. So I'm going to discuss projects also in which we're going to implement TypeScript, and we're going to build those projects in the upcoming videos. Okay, so let's start with the today's agenda, that is file management. And guys, if you want to get the previous source code of the previous classes, what you can do is you can just visit my GitHub profile. You just need to type github.com/viraj014, and it will take you to my GitHub profile. And it's always great to create a GitHub account. You can see that I've been managing my GitHub account from past, I think, 2-3 years. So like, it creates a very good impression if you are someone who is preparing for a job or interview. Definitely guys, it creates a good impression. They can see that yeah, this guy is active from that much amount of time. Okay, I'm flexing, I know, but yeah, it's a very good thing. You can see, like, it shows that you are somewhat active. Okay, so yeah, you can follow me here also on my Instagram account, or you can message me on LinkedIn. So now let's check out the repository which I'm talking about. Just go to the repositories and you can see we have TypeScript, Next.js, GFG. So this contains all the source code of the previous classes, and all the upcoming classes would also be uploaded here. That means the videos, I'm sorry, the codes of that video would be on GeeksforGeeks development channel, and the course would be the code part would be here. Okay, way after class हमारे यहाँ आ जाओ, पिकनिक चल रहा है इधर। कहाँ रहते हो आप? कहाँ, लाइक, फ्रॉम वेयर यू, आप कहाँ से हो? मैं कुछ बहुत अच्छा बोलने वाला था, बट अभी चलो छोड़ो। Chalo, let's continue. And yes, you can mark it as a star also so that it's saved. All right. So I'm gonna open the source code of previous classes, and there's nothing, right now I'm telling, there's nothing much to do today. We are just gonna focus on West Bengal. Okay, you're from West Bengal. I think passport लगेगा, मेरे पास passport नहीं है यार। क्या है, हमने बहुत गरीबी देखी है, तभी तक हमने पासपोर्ट नहीं बनवाया है। Soon I'll make a passport, and then I'll visit West Bengal also, and different parts. Okay, you said West Bengal. Okay, I'm sorry. You said West Bengal. Okay. या वेस्ट बंगाल के तो डायरेक्टली आ सकते हैं, I'm sorry. मैं कभी कभी कंफ्यूज भी हो जाता हूँ यार, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पार्ट्स में, लाइक अभी मैंने गलती से, सॉरी, आई एम सॉरी, इट्स वेस्ट बंगाल, बट मैंने गलती से बांग्लादेश समझ लिया था। सो दैट्स समथिंग डिफरेंट, वेस्ट बंगाल तो अपने यहाँ ही है। ओके। पिकनिक चल रहा है तो लाइक आपका क्या न्यू ईयर चल रहा है, क्या चल रहा है वहाँ पे? ठीक है, मेरी ज्योग्राफी थोड़ी वीक है, अब जज मत करना यार। Okay, so guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a fresh code for today. So I'm just gonna name it as day 6. Today is day 6, right? So day 6, and let's open this with VS Code. Okay, perfect. Uh, let's create a very basic file, index.ts. So guys, I'm gonna explain something to you. This is file-based stuff. So here you can see, नहीं बस ऐसे ही विंटर पिकनिक, अरे बढ़िया यार, विंटर्स में लाइक मज़ा तो बहुत आता है। मैं भी आज गया था, लाइक पिकनिक पे ही गया था, मैं घूमने गया था। देखो, हेयर कट भी करा है मैंने, थोड़ा ठीक लग रहा है ना? राइट, सो लेट्स क्रिएट समथिंग. सो आई एम जस्ट गोना से लेट a equals hey, and I'm just gonna print something console.log a, and let's give it, by default the like type is string obviously, but I'm gonna write it explicitly so you can see. Yeah, that's it. So when we run this, let's create one more file similar to this. Okay, so here what we're gonna do is let's create another file, my file. Okay, my file dot ts. Okay, my file.ts, right? And here I'm just gonna say we have one more variable. Suppose we have xyz, and we're gonna print xyz, right? So that's it. You can see we have created this, and now what we're gonna do is perfect. What we're going to do is, now you can see that, guys, whenever I want to run this and whenever I want to compile this into JavaScript, I can easily do this using the command tsc index.ts. When I want to compile this, what I can do is I can easily do this by typing tsc myfile.ts. Let me just show you. So if I just go here, new terminal, and here if I write tsc index.ts, right? So if I hit this, you can see a JavaScript file would be created, compiled version of this. And one thing you might notice here is, even if we had let here, even if we had let here, you can see it was converted into where, because by default TypeScript focuses on older version of JavaScript, so we have to make TypeScript work for latest version. That means latest version of JavaScript supports let, but this is actually it's like it's supporting ES5, okay, and let and where concepts came from ES6, and the latest version of JavaScript, all of them have let const these. But you can see in this case, you can see we have where was supported in previous versions of JavaScript, that means ES5 and lesser versions. Okay, so by default TypeScript is focused on those versions, but we have to make it work for latest version of JavaScript. So we'll do that. It's very easy to do. But yeah, my main focus is right now you can see that we have index.ts, we compiled index.ts to index.js. Similarly, if you want to compile the other file, that is tsc my file.ts, okay, my file.ts, and here you can see that we have my file.js. You can see the converted one. Okay, so that's it. Now you can see that this is fine for two files. We have two files, but suppose if you have thousands of files, would you be compiling each file again and again? Like honestly, you won't be using this anyway. You don't need to compile it yourself. But suppose you are just learning TypeScript and you have thousands of ts files, you made changes in them, now you have to compile them again and again. This is good or not? Obviously, if you do this manually, it's a very big task. So to actually do this, what we can do is we can just add a command. So for that, guys, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to create one file, that is config file. So I'm just gonna write init. Okay, init. If I write this, you can see we have tsconfig.json. That's it. Okay, we have the config file. Now is what I have to do is, if I write tsc flag w, okay, if I write this, you can see now it has started to watch. It has started to watch. So what I'm gonna do is, let me just delete this, and let me just delete this. Okay, so now in index.ts, let's make a change. Okay, if I write hello world, right? So if I just save this, so you can, as soon as I save this, you can see my file.ts was also created and index.js was also created. So you can see now it's very easy because I have just added a watch flag. What it says is it would compile all the files. So now if you have thousands of ts files, you don't need to compile them yourselves. It would be easily done, right? So that makes things for us very easy. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you, right? So this was like when you want to compile multiple files at single time, this is very beneficial. Okay, so later on we'll also see that if I don't want to compile some specific file, how can I do that? And we are also going to learn about some root directories where you need to compile and where you don't want to compile. We'll all see that, but I hope this is understood. That is, we can compile index.ts, myfile.ts, and other files at the same time if I just have this tsc watch flag started. So you can see if there is an error, obviously if you make it an error, suppose if I just introduce an error number, okay, so if I just save this, you can see it. As soon as I get an error, you can see I will be getting an error here and the file name here and the specific line, and you can see that you will get that specific error. Okay, so that's also here. So even if you cause an error, you will get the error directly and also in the console. Okay, in the terminal, I'm sorry. So you can see this perfect. Right now I'll just fix this. I know now it's fixed, and now you can see zero errors found. Okay, very helpful. Watch is very helpful. Now after this, guys, what I wanted to tell you is, you can see that when we try to compile index.ts, you can see it's carrying the let keyword. This is TypeScript code, right? But when I compile it to what, JavaScript, you can see that okay, actually what happened is when we created this, Okay, as soon as I create that tsconfig file, when we create the tsconfig file, no, then you can see that it has targeted the latest version of ES. Okay, but if I don't create the tsconfig file, it would target the older version of ES, that is ECMAScript 5 or lesser. Okay, so now suppose if I just make it ECMAScript 5. Okay, now if I just save this, so you can see that index.ts had let keyword, index.js has where keyword. Okay, so by default this is it, but when you create the tsconfig file, the by default becomes 2006 or latest version, whatever it is for es ECMAScript. Okay, so for 6 and above, let would be let, and it won't be converted to where. Okay, so if I make it es6, and now if I just save this, and you can see that it became let. Okay, very easy, right? So this is what I wanted to tell you here. Okay, so this must be greater than ECMAScript 5, so that you can see the latest things. And by default you would get, whenever you create the tsconfig file, by default it would just target this ES 2016, or if say there's some latest version, it would target that. Okay, now I think one more doubt is clear. Can you explain the using strict? Okay, okay, this is one more doubt which I'm gonna clear today. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. Actually, this was one doubt which someone, I think you only mentioned that why we use strict and in JavaScript. Okay, so we're gonna cover that when we finish this file system. Today itself, I'm gonna cover that topic. Okay, very good doubt. Okay. Right, so now guys, you can see that this is using some latest version of ES, totally fine, but if it's using 5 or lesser, then you would see some support issues. Okay, so that's it. Now let's continue with some more topics which we need for file management. So what we have learned till now. Okay, so now what we're gonna do guys is we're gonna include and exclude some files. Okay, so here in tsconfig at the bottom, wherever you want, I'm just gonna write one more thing, that is, suppose I want to exclude some file. Okay, right now you can see that as soon as I watch, you can see automatically this would be created, automatically this would be created, but there might be some ts file which I don't want to compile. For example, this file name is don't compile or something like temp. Okay, I'm just gonna name it as temp file dot ts, and I just made it for fun. Okay, I just made it for fun. I don't want to compile this. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this part and paste it here, and abc and abc, you can see this fine. Now what I want is, I want to compile index.ts, I want to compile myfile.ts, but I don't want to compile tempfile.ts. How can I do this? For that, we have simple task here. You just need to give a comma, and then you can just write exclude. Okay, so just a second. Okay, yes, you can just write exclude here. What happened? Yeah, exclude here, exclude. Okay, exclude here, and inside this, what I can say is, I just have brackets, and then after this guys, okay, I think there is one issue. Okay, I'm just gonna remove this. Okay, and inside this guys, you just need to write the path. Okay, so here what I can say is, I think we made one mistake here, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna cut this, and I have to add it after. Okay, now it's fine. Now it's fine. Okay, so here you can see that here I just need to write the file in which I want to exclude. So if I just write temp file dot ts, I want to exclude this. That means I don't want to compile it automatically. So now let's delete this, and now let's delete others also. Let's delete this also. Okay, so now let's just try to save it. So if I just save it, you can see nothing happens, but if I save this one, so you can see automatically my file .js would be created. And okay, just a second, just a second. Let's try to make a hello world. Okay, now you can see that both of them are created, but now suppose let's try to make a change here. so you can see that this file is not created. Okay, so that's what I mean. Here you can see we excluded this, and you can see this file is now excluded. Okay, that means it won't be compiled. You can see this is not compiled. Even if you save this, it won't be compiled. It would be just compiling myfile.js and index.js. Okay, that means my index.ts and myfile.ts. It won't compile tempfile.ts, right? So I hope you understood this. This is what exclude is. We can actually exclude some more things from here, like for example, if I want to exclude a directory, I can actually exclude this. For example, temp dir, let's name it as temp directory, and I'm just gonna say file1.ts actually, and similarly we're gonna have file2.ts, right? So you can see as soon as I create this, the JS converted code is automatically here, right? So you can see by default it would just show you used it. I'm gonna explain this, why do we actually have used it, okay, later on. So right now you can see that what I want is, I would say that this is a temp dir. I don't want to compile anything inside this. Okay, I want to just compile index.ts. I just want to compile myfile.ts. I don't want to compile tempfile.ts, and I don't want to compile this whole directory. How can I do this? So for that, what you need is, you just need to mention your directory here. Okay, so if I just give a comma and I want to just ignore this temp dir. Okay, temp dir, that's it. So if I write this, and let me just remove it, okay, so let's write, let xyz, okay, that's it. Okay, so I've written something, and written something, right? So you can see now, if I just save this, you can see it does not get compiled, right? But if I try to do something inside index.js, okay, if I just modify this, save this, so you can see, yeah, it gets compiled. If I just say here, hey there, so you can see it also gets compiled. If I write something here, if I remove it from here, you can see it does not get compiled. And if I just write something here, okay, if you make any change here, does not get compiled. So you can see now what is ignored. You can see tempfile.ts, whatever you write inside this won't be compiled. And what else is ignored? You can see this whole directory is now ignored. Okay, so that's what exclude is for. And I think we can add something more about this. What you can say is, like if you want to exclude some specific file, what you can do is, inside temp.dir, I just want to exclude file 2.ts. That's it. I want to include all other files, but I want to exclude file 2.ts. So you can see for file 2.ts nothing happened, but for file 1.ts automatically this is compiled. Okay, so you can just do it like this. That's what exclude is for. If you don't want to compile anything, you can directly do this. Okay, in some cases you don't want to compile and like that, so you can do this. This is what file management is. And now I think we need to cover something else. One more thing which I want to do is, actually you can see that right now this was the exclude part. Now there might be some case where you just want to include some part only. Okay, that means right now you can see that if I remove this, right now you can see that we only have ts file, and I want to say that only myfile.ts would be compiled. Okay, only myfile.ts would be compiled. So what I can say is, here if I write include, and here if I just write I just want to compile, suppose temp I just want to compile my file.ts. Okay, my file.ts, I just want to compile this. And what else? I just want to compile temp dir. That's it. Okay, so I'm sorry, double inverted commas, temp dir. That's it. So you can see that, guys, only this myfile.ts is compiled, right? Myfile.ts is compiled, and also tempdir is compiled. You can see inside this whatever ts file we have would be compiled. Okay, so that's what include is. You can include some specific files only, or you can exclude some specific files. It's totally up to you, right? So this was one more thing which I wanted to tell you. Now, guys, one more important thing is output directory and like that, things like that. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, right now let me just delete this. Okay, and I'm gonna delete this also, and from tsconfig I'm just gonna comment this out. Okay, now what do we want to do is we want to just create an output directory and root directory. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a src directory here, and here I'm gonna create like file 1.ts. Okay, suppose I want to ignore all the other files outside src. What I can say is this is my root directory. Okay, I can assume that this is my root directory and I want to ignore all other files. What I can do is here I think you would see, yeah, we can see that it's out dir. Out dir is important, but we have a root dir. Okay, so you can see we have root dir here. Okay, I think we need to search this. So for searching, what you can do is you can just type here root dir. Okay, so as soon as you go here, you can see that yeah, I found root dir. Okay, so if you face difficulty finding things, you can use this VS Code search, very helpful. Okay, so here what you can see is root dir is by default this root folder. What I can say is I'll just comment this out first of all. So control and forward slash, so comment it out. And here guys, I want to say is my root directory is src folder. So inside the main project day6, we have the src. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that yeah, just my root directory is now src, right? And now one more problem is you can see that is not under root directory. So here what you can do is you need to include something. Okay, what you need to do is you need to include this directory. Okay, so here itself I'm just gonna say include, and here I just want to write src. Okay, so if you write this, what you can see is now this became my root. Okay, whatever we have here will only be compiled. Okay, so if I just delete everything from here and everything from here and everything from here, and let's try to make some change. Let a equals hey. Okay, right, so you can see as soon as I do this, so you can see compilation occurs. Now let's try to do this. Let's see. So you can see as soon as I do this, you can see compilation does not occur. Okay, so it simply says now the root directory has become src. Whatever it is, it would only perform that. Okay, now let's talk about the output directory. Okay, so we have to create some output directory. Suppose I create an output directory. How can I create this? So you can see here somewhere you will get out directory. Right now for this case, you can see output directory is what? Here you can see we are getting an error. No input were found in config file. Specified include paths were src and exclude paths were okay. If I just write here dot slash build, okay, if I write here, you can see that a build directory would be created. Yes, you can see now in this case what would happen, what would actually happen. This would be your root directory. Whatever you write here now would be compiled inside build. Okay, for example, if I create one more file named as file2.ts, as soon as I create this, you can see inside build file2.js would be created. Okay, so I hope you understood this, how we can use root directory and output directory using TypeScript config.json. Okay, someone actually asked, yes, Mohar asked that, what, and also about the tsconfig. Tsconfig, like it's a very vast thing. Okay, obviously you won't be using this a lot, honestly. But there were some things which I wanted to tell you. First of all, include exclude was important. Okay, then we covered today out dir. Okay, out dir, that means output directory, and then we have root directory. Okay, then we have what? Then we have target, that is which ECMAScript you are using. Then guys, one more thing, that is just a second, we had an error kind of field which we discussed a few days ago. I think I'm missing out the name. Just a second. I think it's inside Emmet only. Okay, yes. Yes, in the previous classes also we discussed about no emit on error. That means if there is an error, the config file won't be won't be proceeding further. Okay, so it's like that. So the TS config is just like you have some rules. If you enable these rules, the rules would be followed. Okay, else this would be skipped. If this was commented out and if this was commented out, this would be skipped. Okay, it's like that, right? So yeah, TS config file would just contain some of your rules which are which are totally dependent on you. Like we actually use this rule for just using the latest version of JavaScript, compiling to the latest version of JavaScript. Similarly, we use this rule to specify the root directory. Similarly, we use this rule to specify the output directory. Similarly, we used one more rule, that is exclude and include. These were some rules, and you have a lot of rules, but honestly you won't be using this. So instead of explaining this, you just know that yeah, here we have some rules. Later on you would be using TypeScript somewhere else. Okay, so it's better to just know about tsconfig basics. Like we have some rules here and some basic rules which we understood today. Okay, rest everything you won't be using it. Like in most cases you won't be using any of the rules, so you can just skip this. Right now guys, we have covered this much part, and after this I think, yes, after this I think now we have covered the file management. Now we had one more doubt, that is what is use strict. Okay, so use strict, if I like, it's for JavaScript. Okay, it's not for TypeScript first of all. So you can see automatically use strict would be here. If I talk about file 2, you can see it has nothing here. But if I compile this to JavaScript code, you can see we have use strict. So use strict is actually a directive which actually enables us to, like, it's actually introduced into ECMAScript file 5, and which actually helps us catch some errors and prevents the use of some error prone features. Okay, like for example, when strict mode is enabled, the JavaScript interpreter is more strict in enforcing coding standards, which would help developers to write cleaner and reliable code. Okay, for example, if I write something like this. Okay, so if let's talk only about JavaScript right now. Okay, if I write something like this, so if I write function and my function, and as soon as I just write where x equals 10, okay, where x equals 10, and console dot log x. Okay, so this is it, and now let's try to call this function. So my function, let's call this. Okay, now if I want to run this, what I'm gonna do is, okay, what I'm gonna do is, Amisha, good evening sir, good evening Amisha. Here you can see that I want to run, so I'm just gonna write node build. Inside build we have what we have, array, we have file 2 dot js. Okay, I think this is it. So you can see I'm getting 10. Okay, so you can see in this above example use strict is available. Okay, so it's actually added at the beginning of the my function, which you can see, and any potential issues and violations of the strict mode rules would be avoided. So some of the key differences include that variables must be declared like this. Okay, so if you suppose directly do it something like this, and you don't declare it a variable properly, although in JavaScript in all cases it's declared by x, but suppose if you make a variable undefined or something. Okay, for example, if I just say x is undefined, okay, or something like that, if you just write it like this or whatever you want. So right now you can see it's already defined, but in some case when you are trying to print this, okay, when you are trying to print this, it would say undefined, and there are some inbuilt rules which use strict follows. Okay, so if suppose in any case x is not defined, you can see by default it's defined, it's like, if I run this, you can see you would get some value. Okay, you would get some value. You can see that x is not defined. In this case x is not defined, I'm sorry. You can see we directly tried to print x and it thrown an error because we actually used use strict. Okay, suppose if I remove this, and now again you can see that x is not defined. Why it's not defined? Because we have not written yet. But yeah, honestly, like use strict is just like you, it's added some rules to ECMAScript 5, although we are using what we are using ECMAScript 2016. But still, if any case your JavaScript file is using ECMAScript files 5, and you have written something of ECMAScript 6 or something like that, so it would actually throw an error. Okay, and rest, I think this is not very like you can say there is no not so much detail about it. If you search about usestrict, you don't know that much about it, but it's like variables must be declared with where, let, const before use. If you are declaring something, for example, write if I write something like this, okay, so if I write something like this, so you can see let a equals, if I write something wrong, okay, so you can see that it's throwing me error. That means things don't exist, so you have to write this. Okay, so obviously use strict would be just containing some rules, and that's what you need to know. Okay, and I think one more thing which I can mention, that there is one something named as object literals, or sorry, octal literals, and there is something which you would hear about later on, or if you know about octal literals, that is octal literals are not allowed in use strict. Whenever you write use strict, or octal literals are not allowed. Whenever you try to write octal literals in your code, that won't be allowed. And duplicate parameters are also not allowed if you write use strict. Okay, one more thing, and I think assigning values to read-only properties, or like constant values, or read-only global variables result in error, that is constants, and using of a with statement is not allowed, right? Use strict is more like adding general strictness. Yeah, it's like just adding somewhat of rules. Okay, like in previous versions of JavaScript, ECMAScript 5, we didn't had let const. Okay, we didn't had let. Okay, we didn't had let. We mostly used where. Okay, we used where, and we didn't use let. Okay, so if you try to use suppose let in that case, so obviously this ES5 would be confused. Okay, so we have used strict to actually avoid that, and that's what it is for. It's not related to TypeScript, it's related to JavaScript. It's just like general, yeah, you said it, general strictness to your JavaScript code. That's what it is. Okay, it's not related to TypeScript, right? Now guys, I think we have covered almost every part of TypeScript, but still you can mention that if I have missed something in TypeScript from previous videos, if you were watching, and I would be completing that. But now after this, what I'm going to do is let's upload the source code to my GitHub profile, and then after that let's discuss where are we going to use this now, and then we're going to learn about some projects which we're going to build later on. Okay, so let me just first upload this to GitHub, and okay, we'll do this when we end this video. Okay, but I'm gonna discuss something now which we are gonna cover in upcoming videos. Okay, so let me just open this. And this is very important because we are going to do this really soon from the next video, since we are using nextjs. Okay, we are going to learn about nextjs, so this is very important. Okay, so I'm gonna write some things here which you must learn first of all. So TypeScript is completed. Okay, so first of all, if you learned TypeScript, that means I'm going to assume that you know JS. Okay, so JS is also done. Okay, and TS is also done. Okay, that means I didn't teach you JS, but I assume that you know JS. Okay, and I taught you TypeScript. Okay, but that is totally based on TS. Now one more thing which you need to know is HTML and CSS, which is honestly very easy. Okay, like if you know the basics and you are able to build some good UI, that's totally fine. Okay, because the main person here is JavaScript. You can learn HTML, CSS while just building different projects, but JavaScript is very important. You must learn this properly if you are not able to learn this. Okay, so HTML, CSS must also be known. And one more thing is you must know React.js. Okay, so React.js is nothing but just a modified version of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So in React.js, you have some topics which you must know. That is, you must know about components. Okay, React components. I'm just gonna write these. So class done. Let's do tongue twister. पकी पापा पक्का पे खाते हैं. It means bird eats papaya. मेरे से तो बोलते हुए नहीं बन रहा. कहाँ कहाँ से लाते हो यार ब्रो ये सब. नाइस. Okay, so components, and then second thing is routing actually. So routing in Next.js, and then the next thing which you can learn about is navigation. These are very basic concepts. They might sound difficult, and they are very easy concepts. Like you can watch tutorials, they are available everywhere. Okay, so navigation, and one more important thing is hooks, and one extra topic is what? Redux. Okay, I think this is it which you must know in React.js. And one more thing which you must know is integration with backend, that is API. So if you have a backend built in Node.js, or you're a Munstack developer, so you would be building your backend in Node.js Express. So to connect your backend, Node.js backend with React.js front end, you would be using API. So you must know that how to use APIs inside React.js. If you are creating your own backend, or you are using some extra APIs, other APIs, what you can do guys is, let me just show you Geeks for Geeks development channel. There you would understand a lot of things. Okay, I've created some good projects so that you would understand React just very properly. Just a second. अरे अरे कोशिश तो करो. बंगाली में बहुत फेमस है. अच्छा, आप बंगाली हो? मेरा बचपन में ना एक बहुत अच्छा बंगाली फ्रेंड था. उसका लाइक, मैं तो जैन हूँ, लाइक मैं नॉन वेज नहीं खा सकता, बट वो जो जब कभी भी वेज ले आता था गलती से, तो लाइक लिटरली खाना बहुत सही रहता है बंगाली लोगों का. मैं आपको एक प्लेलिस्ट दिखाने वाला. I'm gonna show you one playlist, just a second. And yes guys, so in the Geeks for Geeks development channel, what you can do is, if you want to learn a React.js, like we have covered a lot of things, but if you want to just learn React.js, and if you want to just brush up your basics, what you can do is, you can just follow this playlist. Okay, so it's a very good playlist. And if you just want to use React.js, I'm not talking about any backend, I'm not talking about Munstack, I'm just talking about React.js. This playlist, complete playlist, would brush up all of your concepts. Like if you know basics of React.js and you are not confident, you can watch this. Or like if you are just starting with React.js, then you can watch this along with learning concepts. Okay, you can refer something else for learning concepts also. I think this is a good playlist which an old mentor covered, so you can see, yeah, this was also a very good playlist. But this was just for beginners. Just a second. Okay, I'm gonna show you something else. एक्चुअली काफ़ी दिन हो चुके हैं, तो मैं भी खुद भूल गया हूँ. यार मैंने भी बनाया है कुछ ना कुछ. Okay, yes, like you can, yes, this one, I was talking about this one, I'm sorry. Yes, so you can follow this playlist if you want to learn React. Just very good playlist, and it has covered a lot of things. Okay, but overall, you might find topics individually on YouTube also. You can search these individual topics which I told you, that is components in React.js, then routing in React.js, then navigation in React.js, hooks in React.js, Redux in React.js, and APIs. Sorted. React.js is sorted. Now after that, it's totally up to you. You're going to create projects, that's totally up to you. But after React.js, then you are ready to learn Next.js. Okay, so these are some prerequisites of the Next.js. Okay, of Next.js. So yes, that's what I wanted to tell you. Prerequisites of Next.js. Okay, so these are what things which I think everyone must know before trying to learn to Next.js. Okay, because I'm going to assume that you know React.js and TypeScript when we are starting to learn Next.js. Okay, so after this video, that means in the next video, we're gonna start with Next.js. Now in Next.js, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna build some projects. Okay, so in Next.js, what projects we're gonna build? So first of all guys, we're gonna build first project. Okay, so first we'll learn Next.js. Okay, Next.js theory, I would say theory or topics, just topics, for around 6 sessions. Okay, we're gonna take 6 sessions for Next.js concepts. Okay, then what we're gonna do is, we are going to create projects. Okay, then after that we're gonna create projects. So projects, what projects? we are gonna build one shopping cart. Okay, very small project, but it would help you understand more about hooks and different kind of things. So shopping cart, just front end base. Okay, only front end. So I'm just gonna write front end only. Okay, it does not need any backend. And then the second project which we're gonna create is to-do list application. Okay, to-do list application. And this is again going to be front end only. Okay, and these projects are made of what? They are made up of nextjs plus TypeScript. Okay, both of these would be used for building these two projects. These are some one session based projects. Now we're gonna build a big project which is a MERN project. Okay, so we're gonna build a MERN project, and MERN is, that means complete front end as well as back end project. Okay, that means it would include complete front end and back end. So it would be using Node.js. So you must know Node.js, and then Express. Although I'm going to teach you in a very easy way, so that even if you don't know Node.js, you would still be able to code with me and understand a lot of things. So it's not a very big issue, but still learn Node.js and Express, because a lot of important topics are there which you must know. Okay, Node.js, Express, MongoDB, and what else we're gonna use? We're gonna use Next.js. Okay, Next.js. So we're gonna build a big project. This project is going to be a file sharing app. You might have used Zender or like nearby share, like tools like that. So you can see that if I want to share something to my friend, like file to my friend, so I would be sharing that to my friend. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a very good project. Like I'm sitting at my home and you are sitting at your home, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share a file to you directly from my home. Okay, it's like we are staying very far away from each other, but I can easily share you a file. Okay, so we are gonna build that complete project. It's going to be a fun project. So file sharing, uh, web app. Okay, web app. So this is going to be a very good project which we're gonna build, and this is totally full stack project. That means front end as well as back end. Okay, totally. So it's going to be a very big project, and this would take 6 sessions. I think around 6 sessions. Okay, so 6 sessions, 6 or 5 sessions, I'm not sure, but this is going to be a very big project. Okay, so yeah, these are some projects, and this would take only one session, and another, this is going to be taking one session and one session only. Okay, and this was going to be taking 6 sessions, and this is going to be taking 6 sessions. So yeah, this playlist would be now added more, like with 6 next year sessions and 2 projects, basic projects, and one big project of 6 sessions. Okay, so this is the next thing which we're gonna do in the upcoming videos. So I hope you understood this, and I hope you understood the prerequisites. If you didn't get the prerequisites, you can take screenshot of this, and you can take screenshot of this also, so that you learn at least the basics of all of them. Okay, so that you are ready to learn Next.js, and later on we're gonna create projects, just front end project, a full stack project. Okay, that's it. Right, so guys, I hope you understood this, and I have also uploaded the source code on my GitHub. So let me just share you the source code of today. We didn't do anything today much, but yeah, still I'm gonna share this. So what you have to do is you just need to go to my GitHub profile, github.com/viraj014. This is my GitHub profile, and you can just go to the repositories. In the repositories we have TypeScript, Next.js, GFG, and here you would get the complete source code. Right, I'll just share this to the okay, I'm not using YouTube on my computer. Anyways, yeah, you'll get the repository. Okay, if you don't get the repository, you can just search the name here, you'll find this. Okay, and also guys, you can follow me on GitHub, and if you want to contact me personally, you can message me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Right, so guys, I hope you understood this video, and I will see you in the next one. And from next video we are going to start learning Next.js. So be prepared, and just revise React.js first, and then you can watch the Next.js series. Right, so that's it for today. And Zender old school, बहुत काम का था जेंडर सही में, लाइक जब नेट नहीं होता तो वही होता था यार. चलो बढ़िया. ओके, सो दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे. आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन. टिल देन हैव अ गुड डे. बाय बाय.